Hey, what's up guys? I know I normally do BFB reaction content, but if you didn't know, before my channel got hacked, I actually did a couple of commentary type videos on the platform. However, because I don't have an official avatar, I'll just be using my guy Snowball instead. Also, I have a video coming out soon after this one about BFB and how I feel about the second season, what I think they could have done differently. I also want to talk about Inanimate Insanity at some point with their new season just getting started. However, for right now, I want to bring the focus on the Total Drama franchise and its upcoming 2 seasons. How do I think these seasons will pan out, and what do I believe would be best for these renditions? If you don't know me, my name is Dizzy, and in this video, I'll be showing off my predictions as well as breaking some Total Drama news. Because recently, I got the chance to speak with lead writer, voice actor, and executive producer Terry McGurran about the writing business and Total Drama itself. So, if you're new, subscribing would be really helpful. I'm very close to reaching 1,000 subscribers, and I plan on posting more highly edited videos like this one. Alright, with all that out of the way, let's get started. Before I'm able to say anything, I feel as though I should give a bit of context. I was born in 2002 and watched Total Drama live, from the beginning of the series actually. My first episode was Dodgeball, which just so happens to probably be the most well-known episode of the franchise. I've watched every episode from then on out, and it's probably my favorite show of all time. That being said, I'm no blind fanboy. To me, there's a huge disparity between the top half of the seasons and the bottom. So, when the news broke out that there were 2 new seasons in the horizon, I think we were all pumped. I mean, we've had a 6-year hiatus from non-spinoffs, so naturally, questions were being asked like, will the love triangle storyline be finished? Could we get further development on Amy and Sammy's relationship? Could poorly placed contestants get more spotlight in those new seasons? But with more information coming to light, coming from the Animation UK article and information via Terry McGurran from Grady's podcast, it became more and more clear that these seasons would feature new contestants, rather than old ones. So how do I feel about this, as a long-time hardcore fan? Honestly, could you blame them? I mean, like I said, it's been 6 years since we got anything in terms of developing the contestants, and with the emphasis on the audience being, children, it makes complete sense to start off with a new cast from a business standpoint. Because of this, we can start our prediction off by automatically assuming both seasons will have new contestants. I've seen the idea of fans versus favorites or veterans versus rookies, but to me, that doesn't really sound like fresh TV. They don't necessarily outright steal specific concepts from other reality TV shows. Sure, they've done All Stars, but almost every successful competition show has had this concept. Although, come to think of it, we don't necessarily know the number of contestants, right? If we go back to the Animation UK Press article, it stated, Fresh TV have announced 2 new seasons, in parentheses 26 half hours, of the hit animated reality show, Total Drama Island. I remember that in the Total Drama Reddit, when this piece broke, people weren't necessarily sure if they meant 26 half hours per season or 26 hours altogether. So, after my interview with Terry, I made sure to ask about this. Actually, it was released through the Animation UK website that the Total Drama was getting a new season, and people were a little bit confused when it initially released because it was phrased a little bit unwieldy. It said like the 2 new seasons will have 26 half hours, and people were a bit unsure if that meant 13 episodes for each or 26 episodes for each. Do you have any clarification, or would you be able to provide anything for that?
Yeah, it's going to be broken into 2 seasons, like 13 episodes, 1 season, and then another 13 for like a season 2. Yeah.
So, yeah, I know this might be upsetting news to some, seeing as many people were of the mindset that we'd be getting 26 overall hours of Total Drama content, but that's sadly not the case. So this means we're most likely getting 14 contestants each season. One of my initial theories was that maybe some characters from the Redonkulous race could cross over and participate in the new series. Characters that would fit the age requirements for Total Drama, like a Kitty or a Taylor, could compete. Hell, maybe if we're even to believe a few years have gone by since the Redonkulous race, we could even see Junior. Unfortunately, it's very unclear what their definition of a reboot is. I thought about asking, but I thought that would cross the line on what he's contractually able to reveal in the first place. If I were to guess, I would have to say that it's a very light reboot. Meaning, Chris will probably vaguely mention the predecessors and then move on. Maybe we get some background cameos at most. I'm thinking this is the case not only because of how critical the audience reaction would be to learning the history of the series is, well, history, but also I legitimately think there wouldn't be the silhouettes of past Total Drama contestants in the series teaser if they were completely scrapped. Now, there is reason to think differently. After all, there was an entire plot point in which they had to move islands due to Camp Almanac was sinking. Why would it return? Also, maybe the person who worked on the teaser picture simply doesn't know the full details about the upcoming seasons. And yeah, if you argue this, I'm not going to say you're wrong here. I completely go back and forth on this aspect, and especially with the information we're given, there are reasons to believe in either side. Regardless, let's continue with the prediction. The first thing that jumps out at me when I think of a cast in 2021 is more inclusion of the LGBT community. You look at basically any base statistics of the growth and population of whom identifies themselves as LGBT, and the amount of international acceptance towards the community itself, it's quite clear we can expect at least some form of representation. Speaking of which, if you're not a reality television fan, you may not be aware of this, but recently shows like Survivor, Big Brother, and The Challenge have made sure to cast at least 50% people of color. There are many reasons for this, but I think the people watching this video are smart enough to pick up on why this initiative is taking place. Therefore, when getting to ask Terry a few questions, I made sure to ask about how their writing approaches would change, seeing as this is the first time they're writing for new stereotypes that have been popularized in between these past 6 years. Here's what he had to say. Has there been a different approach into writing teens since there are new stereotypes and new sort of personalities that have arisen out of the new generation?
So for the new season of Total Drama Island, which is probably the most diverse cast we've created, we've been bringing in a lot of new writers that are new to Total Drama Island and fairly new to writing, and it's going to be a lot of fun, I think. Yeah. That was another mandate for the room we are putting together, that we were bringing in a lot of 20 somethings into the room. Like there's like, I'm 50 and I know I look great, but I'm 50. And so, me trying to write 17-year-olds, like even on Total Dramarama, every once in a while I'll let my 12-year-old read the script and she'll be like, oh God, you don't need to say this, and you don't need to, like she'll correct like the lingo for me, which is great. Awesome, yeah, it's pretty fun. She's like, no one ever says totally anymore. They say super. It's super cool. Yeah. It's totally cool. It's like, all right. So yeah, we're learning.
I'm really glad we got confirmation on this, because Total Drama is such an international program that has such a diverse set of fans. I think an enormous amount of people will be really pleased to hear that. I think everyone was surprised that we would be getting 2 new seasons announced at the same time. What effect would this have on the series? What would be the difference between the 2 new seasons? Initially, I thought we would be getting a season to tie up all the loose ends, as well as bring in some returning icons to help attract the old viewers. The other season would be an entire new cast. That's what I thought anyway. Now, with all the information we've gone over, I genuinely think that these 2 new seasons have 2 different brand new casts. This was another topic I wanted to bring up in a question. However, kind of just like the reboot, I thought this would be also crossing the line, so I decided not to ask. So, what would the difference between the 2 seasons be? Honestly, my guess would have to be how the teams are formed. Maybe the first season is completely vanilla and very similar to the first season, while the second season would be formed based off their backgrounds. International versus Canada or international versus North America would definitely help check off the diversity factor we've already mentioned. Plus, it's never been an idea fully executed in an already existing reality TV show, that I know of at least. We've had similarities, but never this specific set of locations battling it out. What do you guys think of this idea, and would you prefer something else? I'd actually really like to hear you guys' input on this, because one thing I've struggled with the Total Drama community, a lot of their dream seasons and season predictions are just obviously never going to happen. So I'd like to hear some realistic ideas for these next 2 seasons. For my final question, I thought about the future. I thought about the people. I thought about the possible year-long wait we'll have to endure before the season comes out. So I decided to ask about when we could be getting more confirmed details on the new seasons. This was the response I was given. And then this is sort of the last question. This is sort of like what all my friends would want to know. There's no expected date for the season, and obviously it wasn't provided. Do you have any guesstimate where their new news would be published about the season, or just like, do you have a ballpark or something?
I really don't. I would share it if I did, but we don't even have our schedule yet. Like, we don't have the season laid out. I know that we're hoping to put the first writing room together in May. So we haven't even started writing yet. They're still doing character designs and character review. So the first writing room will be in May, and but I even if I had our schedule, I couldn't tell you when they're gonna air it. You know.
Yeah, so I would probably assume the first instance in which we could maybe get an official piece of news from Fresh TV themselves is probably late summer, maybe. I know this doesn't necessarily have to do with the season themselves exactly, but I think it's important to not get too impatient and set a realistic goal in everyone's head for information to drop. So these are the 3 pieces of information we got. 2 13-episode seasons, a more diverse cast, and they expect their first writing room to be in May. With all that said, I want to make something very clear. This interview was for a school grade. It's a 20-minute interview talking about the screenwriting business with some Total Drama related questions at the end. I've just decided to only include the Total Drama related content to make it more digestible for you guys. Terry McGurran was a joy to get to talk to and learn from. So with that said, please don't annoy any of the writers, voice actors, producers, storyboard artists, animators, fucking catering, like with any spoiler related questions. They're all really hard at work to produce something great for all of us, so it gives Total Drama community a bad rep if you fill up their messages with questions regarding the new season they're not even allowed to be talking about. Even if you're slightly disappointed by some of these answers, I'm sure there's a specific reason on why they decided to split it up into 2 seasons and why it's being produced in this specific way. We just have yet to learn the answer. And if you need something for your Total Drama fix while we wait for more info, I'll run down some options for you. First up, we got the king of YouTube Total Drama seasons, Cove. This man has made a whole dang series off of PowerPoint and a $0 budget. The series goes wild. Some of the characters are actually complex, and if you have the patience to watch stuff without voice acting, this is for you. You like to read? Me neither. But damn, Despair Island is a fucking gem. You put the original Total Drama contestants in a season, and if they're voted off, they die. Yes, please, more of that. There are stakes involved. And it's extremely well written. This is the only Total Drama fanfiction I've ever read, but I'm sure all of the rest of them are up to this quality too. Oh, you want some new shit? Hold me back, put me on a leash, because Drama Total Adventura is a jam. Only 1 episode has been released, but it's so good thus far. Seriously, it is great non-choppy animation with actual decent voice acting and character design, but honestly, all this shit doesn't even matter when we haven't gotten to the king. Total Drama Murder Island. Bro, this shit used to give me nightmares as a kid, but it's so good. It's so good just to pick a favorite and root for him. It's awesome. What a ride. Woo, Lord have mercy. I just want to give a quick shout out to Reddit for helping me stay on track with these Total Drama news and all of the shenanigans that have happened within the past few months within the Total Drama community. They've been really, really pleasant. It's a really good community. It's not very centric. It's not like everyone has the same ideas and same opinions, so it's a really cool community to get into. Also, if for some reason you're a VFB fan that have stuck to the end, I just want to say really a big thank you from me. If you really want to get into Total Drama, I recommend just watching on Netflix or YouTube. It's all on YouTube if you don't have a Netflix account. So either way works. And if you're a Total Drama fan that hasn't gotten to BFB, I recommend watching BFDI. You know, it's a little bit harder to get into if you're a Total Drama fan. It is a little bit more of an immature humor, but it's really good. Like, especially just the upgrading quality over the past few seasons is really impressive, and I really think a lot of the characters are complete standouts just in terms of characters. Not just in terms of object shows, just in terms of characters. So definitely check that out. It's really well made, and for the BFB fans that have stuck around, especially, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Appreciate you. Goodbye.